Today, with the same spirit of determination, American women are working to save this way of life, working to save the nation from the impact of total war, working to build a sure defense.
First time I came to Vermont was 1939, and that was to see Putney School.
Grew up in Woodstock mostly, and when I was in the sophomore year, I moved to Springfield.
I moved here when I was about, getting ready to go in the 6th grade.
Women in general are not as strong as men, but with the right equipment adjusted to their capabilities, they can do just about the same work as men. Their employment, therefore, requires all the health and safety precautions necessary for men, plus some extra measures. Their part in the war effort is very important, but their understanding of basic safety rules and good health habits is just as important as the turning out of the thingamabob that's going to win the war.
It was very much so different because there were so many people. There were many shops, and they were all in the war effort.
Springfield used to be a quiet, likeable town. Now it's with dope.
We didn't have much. We had the money to buy, but there was nothing to buy. Nothing was made, just for the war effort.
It was, everybody had food stamps. Everybody had gas stamps. Everybody had meat stamps.
It was just a contented life, farm life, good life, yeah.
Women trained in science are testing and observing and working to discover new ways to this threat. Other women, skilled and unskilled, are asking, what can I do to help? This film will show what women are doing and what they can do.
Even the little children found ways of helping the war effort. Nobody was asked to do it. We just did it. You saw something that had to be done, you did it. Because it was for the war.
Well, the man left, said he was going into the service, and the company needed somebody on that machine. So they hired with a woman.
Somebody had to do it, and a woman was the only one there.
Every woman has an important place in the National Defense Program, in science, in industry, and in the home.
Well, it started here in Springfield, and then I got married, and then my husband went down to Connecticut, Stratford, Connecticut, and he worked for Mr. Sikorsky, you know, the man that invented the, the helicopter. He just loved to work with him because it was all new. I went to work for Chance Vought. I've noticed that they spelt it wrong in the paper. C-H-A-N-C-E, Chance Vought Aircraft. And I started in stenographic, then the engineering, and then the men wanted private secretaries, so I was one. And I wasn't very happy. And so the big boss came to me and he said, Alice, what do you want to do? He says, we've given you all these jobs, but you don't seem happy at it. And I said, I'm not busy enough. I said, I love to be busy. And so he said, well, where do you want to work? And I said, personnel. I said, you got a big personnel department and I would like to work there. And I know I'm going to be busy, which I was. It was Mr. Tiffany, I think it was, his son. They sent him down to be the boss of the personnel department, and I was his secretary, plus everybody else is around. So it was fun. I really enjoyed that. And during that time, he came up to me once and he says, how would you like to go out and shop? And I said, yeah, I hadn't been out there to see how they build our airplanes, because they made the Corsair that landed on the ships. I said, I'd like to see those. And so he says, I'd like to have you meet someone out there. And I said, who is it? And he said, Colonel Lindbergh. I said, oh, great, let's go out. He said, and I've got a book here. He says, will you ask him to sign it for you? I said, sure. So I went out, and we were standing up on the big platform, and down below us, these people were putting the planes together, and I'd say there were maybe about 50 planes. And they were all, and I could see Mr. Lindbergh, and he was looking at it so intently. And I looked down, I couldn't believe my eyes, because all these people were dwarfs. All of them. I had never seen so many dwarfs in my life. I think that's what they call them. And the reason why is that they could get inside the plane, the tail of a plane. They could do all the work in there, and they were busy little workers. They were very good little workers, and really glad to have the work. But I'd never seen so many of them together. But they did a good job. They had quite a line of planes going out there every day. And in fact, my girlfriend, she said, my boyfriend is a test pilot, and they had a field across the street from Transvaal aircraft. And she says, he'd like to take us up. I says, you tell him I don't go up with test pilots. After he tests the plane, yes.
It was mostly machine tool work, and there were a few storage jobs.
When we first went to work, we were told what was expected of us in the way of good health habits and safe practices. We were told that wearing proper, sensible clothing was a very important item in our new work, and the necessity for wearing the right apparel was pointed out to us.
And always was on pins and needles, because you didn't know when you'd get a letter or telegram saying somebody close to your heart was killed.
They didn't have the support groups for the women and the families that were left behind that they do today. No, you managed on your own. You made your own comfort. You kept your families together and so forth.
Whenever we take extra time off, it leaves empty spaces in the production lines. Material piles up, waiting for the operator who should be there. Your place in the war effort, however small you think it is, can cause a slow-up of production by your unnecessary absence.
After a while, the Gilman shop just stopped because they didn't need the parts for the war anymore. And so we were all laid off.
Mama told me that we're going to be, you're going to get a vacation, permanent vacation, because, the fellow that was in the war was back for his job. The government said that their job was guaranteed.
Who are these women? Where did they come from? They worked in restaurants. They were the homemakers who prepared meals for their families. They were the mothers who raised boys and girls to become fine men and women. They worked in offices. They liked fun and music and peace. But a couple of madmen came along and made them angry. Some sent their menfolk to active duty and then took jobs to help the war effort. From all walks of life they came to help make secure our way of living. Who are these women? We are these women.